All right. So this is the third video that I'm going to be uploading today. Um, Life update. Something big happened to me yesterday, Monday, that kind of put me into a sour mood. The autonomous driving job that I talked about in prior videos, I was basically taking a break from security and I was stepping away from this channel for a bit and whatnot. My contract was terminated by the how do I word this? My contract was terminated by the agency I was assigned to yesterday, Monday. So I'm no longer effective. Essentially, I was effectively fired. They elected to end my contract, etc. So I was effectively fired from that job. So that goes back into why I'm starting to really pick up on YouTube very fast again and whatnot. So yeah, no. How do I word this? No hard feelings, no harm, no foul towards that agency, towards that autonomous self-driving group. Um, I honestly essentially do agree with the firing, and I was debating on walking, anyways. So where does that leave me right now? Well, I was collecting $700 every week. The base pay was $25 an hour at that non-security job. So now that I've chopped down that income, I'm kind of scrambling. I'm kind of not as far as I lost income. I was collecting $700 a week. Oof, that's a hit to anybody's wallet. So I'm looking at a secondary job right now. Basically, we're going back into security. We're going back full bore into security. I might be working two security jobs here in a bit. Um, so yeah, right now I'm thinking about either going back to Securitas because they randomly terminated me out of the blue last month in April just due to no hours. Um, I'm either going back to Securitas or I'm going Garda World. Right now, I'm going into either one of those two groups. I know I'm going back to the Nationals, but they pay every week, and I more or less just need something for right now. In my head, what I'm trying to do right now is kind of get by until June or July, when the new how do I word this? I swear to God, I don't feel like I articulate myself well on YouTube at times. The Las Vegas Regional Transportation Commission, the Las Vegas RTC bus transit system, um, Marksman Security's contract is ending. A new agency was picked. They already have the contract. They don't start the RTC contract until like June or July, if I recall. Basically, the end of June going into July, I think, is when the new company, Intercon Security, um, takes RTC and starts services with RTC. I'm thinking about going back to Securitas or Garda until such time as Intercon starts up the RTC contract because I've worked for Intercon in the past. I love the fuck out of Intercon, and the bus system pays $25 an hour. It's gone up dramatically um, since I worked the buses last. So I may or may not be going back into transit security. We'll see in the future. But yeah, so life update for you. I've basically been fired from my non-security job, um, and we're going back into security. Now, why was I fired? Well, 2 weeks ago, I was sent home on a Friday in a bad mood because I was given a final written warning in regards to some safety concerns some instructors had about me. Um, one of the bullet points of the final written warning I agree with. The other I think is bullshit. So let me talk about that. I was told I was given a final written warning in regards to running stoplights slash stop signs. I was running signs, and I was going too fast. I was speeding. The stop sign bit was bullshit because the only time I ever ran stop signs was within the confines of the training depot, the training base. Well, I'm saying training base, but in reality, it was the garage where all of the self driving cars go. And then obviously within property, we have like 4 parking lots that more or less training is conducted on. The only time I ever ran stop signs was during training in that parking lot when more or less I went into autonomy for the very first time, and I figured, all right, I want to get the hang of autonomy, and then I'm going to go back and clean myself up and um, get a handle on stop signs and whatnot because it's a lot to take in at once. I went to autonomy. The car was driving itself at that point. And then, they wanted me to disengage. They wanted me to drop it of autonomy. They wanted me doing manual driving. They wanted me doing this. They wanted me doing that. And I'm like, it's a lot for one person to do at once. It's while you're in autonomy, while the car's driving itself, it still expects you to look around and be aware of all this stuff. And oh my God, I'm like, it's a lot for one person to take in. You're behind the wheel. You're worried about the car. And then you're worried about, your typical driver surroundings, your typical driver stuff. It's a lot for anybody to take in at once, especially during a training environment. So I figured, all right, you know what? I want to get the hang of autonomy, and then I want to go back and start handing street signs and manual, etc. And I figured that that was fine because this was training environment within our own perimeter, within our own base. Well, apparently, what ended up happening was, yeah, they said I was fine. They checked me off, and the next day they said, oh no, you're not fine. You're redoing this all over again. And I'm like, well, why the fuck was I sent home in a good mood? And they said I was good, and then the next day I'm redoing all this again because, oh, apparently they said I was fine. In reality, I'm not. Bullshit. And then the other bullet point of why I was given a final written warning was speeding. Actually, I don't think it was speeding. I don't think it was speed concern. It was a speed concern, but I think it was the opposite. I was going 5 to 10 under the limit during single vehicle operator training. When I passed software operator, I passed being the passenger seat. While we're in autonomy, we have to. There's a SWO, there's a software operator in the passenger seat that's giving callouts as opposed to what the car's seeing. Or okay, the car's going to turn right, the car's going to turn left. Okay, we're gonna lane change. Da 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 da. The software operator, the SWO gives those callouts as opposed to what the car's going to be doing. Obviously, I was single vehicle operator, so I passed SWO. I passed DVO, double vehicle operator, so a 2-man crew. I was qualified to be in the passenger seat then. Or, excuse me, I was qualified to be in the driver's seat for DVO. I was qualified to be driving in autonomy in a DVO in a double vehicle crew. Coming into single vehicle training, they said my speed and manual was at 35 and a 45 and whatnot, and I go, yeah, I own that. There were a couple times where I couldn't see street signs, so I went 35 because I figured that was a safe speed. As in, a that's where my foot could comfortably hold a speed at, and B, I figured, okay, well, you know what? If I can't see a street sign, I'm gonna go 35 because most of the streets in Vegas are either 35 or 45. So I figure I'm just gonna go with the lower end. I'm gonna go 35, and then the one particular instructor's going, hey, you're going 35 and a 45, and I'm going, I haven't seen a street sign yet. I'm sorry. There was a lot of times during that training shift, during those 8 hours with that one particular instructor, to where they were basically on me about, hey, you're going under the speed. And I'm like, I am aware I'm going under the speed. I'm going a safe speed. I haven't seen a street sign. Until I see a street sign, until I see a white sign on a pole, I'm going X speed. So apparently that went into the instructor feedback, that went into their paperwork, and I was given a final written warning for speed and signs. What blindsided me yesterday was they said I damaged a vehicle. They said I damaged a kit, is what we call it, KITT. They call them kits from Knight Rider. So the autonomous Toyota Highlander, I apparently damaged a Toyota. I damaged a kit, and I went bullshit. Show me the footage. When did I damage a vehicle? And then what ended up happening was last Wednesday or Thursday, when you threw the car in park to check for your phone, There are only three approved spaces. There are only three approved spots your phone could be in while in autonomy during single vehicle operator training. That's in a personal backpack, in the glove box, or in the backseat compartment. I couldn't remember where my phone was, so at a red light, I threw the kit in park. I threw open the glove box. Okay, yes, my phone's in the glove box. It's where it's supposed to be. Great. So I couldn't remember where it was. So I was freaking out as I was driving, going, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!" My instructor was watching me on camera, so they were watching me remotely back at base. And the instructor wasn't in the vehicle with me at the time. Going, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I." So I was freaking out, going, "I don't remember where my phone was." So I threw yep, okay, it's in the glove box, and I slammed the glove, and I threw the glove box. Um, I I put the glove box up again. Apparently, I damaged the car during that uh, during that check. So the instructor, or excuse me, HR, my agency HR said, due to the fact that we gave you a final written warning, and then apparently you damaged a kit, they've elected to just end you. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I got the news yesterday, Monday. I'm posting all of these videos that I'm making today on Tuesday, the next day thereafter. So yeah, we're in a little bit of a sour mood right now. I'm kind of bummed out. It was a cool job. No hard feelings towards Zooks, but I am a little bit salty as far as I think their training process needs a lot of working, and I feel like they expect people to be perfect straight out of the gate, and I feel like their instructors don't give people room for error. Everybody comes into the job as a good driver by default. You're given a sit down interview, you're given a Zoom interview, and then they look at your driving. They look at they do a driving interview, they call it, to where there is an actual Zooks team lead in the vehicle with you, and they watch you drive. So everybody comes into this job as a good driver, somewhat by default. But more or less, it's very annoying. The training process is very annoying because they're very anal about safety. That's not the annoying part. The annoying part for me going through the training process was the fact that some instructors expect you to be perfect straight out of the gate. And that's what appeared a lot of the instructors were doing. They expect you to just be able to get it right off the bat. And I'm like, bro, between my own driving, between having to worry about typical stuff while you're driving, street signs, whatever, between having to worry about situational awareness, and then on top of that, you're having to worry about a car that can fucking drive itself, and you're worrying about the AI, you're worried about all of the displays, you're worried about looking at the computer, you're worried about the dashboard, you're worried about all of the instruments on the dash, you're worried about the computer, you're worried about all of the stuff during driving, and then you throw an AI that can drive itself into the vehicle on top of all that. That's a lot to take in. I'm worried about my own driving, then I'm worried about the car driving. I'm worried about all of the car systems that basically allow the car to drive itself. I'm worried about all of the car systems on top of normal driver stuff. It's a lot for anybody to take in. So again, no ill will towards Zooks. I am a little bit salty, but in the end, it is what it is. I got fired because I just could not get their training process because I had a lot of bad instructors. And by bad instructors, it goes back to what I just said. I feel like a lot of these instructors expect you to be perfect straight out of the gate. The job training is a lot for anybody to take in. So I feel like I got some bad instructors, I got some impatient instructors, and I got some instructors that basically just expected you to be perfect straight out of the gate. If you weren't perfect, um, that essentially was reflected in their feedback. I mean, there was one instructor who basically got me so flustered to where I freaked out, and I'm I basically had a mini panic attack inside of Kit, inside of the Toyota. Um, he told me to stop at a light, but he said it in such a way, or He was practically yelling at me, and I just got so flustered in training that I basically stood on the brake. I slammed the brake, and I stood on the brake, and that braking was so harsh to where it sent the Toyota Highlander into ABS. So my braking was so like rough, it was so sudden that the ABS system inside of the car kicked in. And I do remember this very vividly. I had the tire screeching. It was a tire stop. But I ABS'd the Highlander when I did that. Now, yeah. So I'm trying to keep the NDA with respect to the NDA. I'm trying to keep that in mind making this video, but I'm not held to it anymore. So there's that. But I am trying to kind of keep this as vague as possible. But yeah. Um, and then the other thing that pissed me off was you're throwing, you're taking a Toyota Highlander and you're throwing essentially a roof rack of sensors onto the roof of the vehicle. So obviously, a Toyota Highlander is an SUV. It has a roof rack, and they're throwing batteries, and they're throwing essentially a whole clamshell of shit onto the roof rack. They're throwing batteries, they're throwing cameras, they're throwing LiDAR, they're throwing radar, they're throwing all of this shit onto the roof of the car and on the doors on the sides of the car and on the front and on the back. The vehicle is lined with sensors. Well, obviously, when you throw all that weight on a car, it not only changes the fucking dynamics of the vehicle, it changes the center of gravity. And I feel like a lot of instructors don't take that into account in the autonomous vehicle training. I'm driving an SUV with a fuck ton of weight on it. And I was getting pissed off with some instructors. It's like, bro, you need to give me room for error. You need to give me a little bit of leeway as far as safety goes. You need to give me some room here. I'm trying to get used to the weight of this car. It has a lot of sensors on it. You're changing the weight. You're changing the way the vehicle behaves sheerly by weight. That's a lot of shit to put on any vehicle. So yeah. All right, I'm looking at OBS as in this recording. It's about 18 minutes. So let me just state in future videos, I'm going to work on making myself more concise. I'm probably going to get myself some index cards soon. And what I'm going to have to do I'm going to have to go so far as to probably making myself bullet points as opposed to what I talk about, and you'll see me sitting here with index cards. Okay, this point's done. Next index card, because I've talked with Sean offline a lot recently about me kind of getting bummed out about my viewer count, etc. And he and I have been talking offline about that a lot. Um, it was about 2, 3 weeks ago to where when Damien and him were kind of having a back and forth to where Sean made a live and he said I think he said something to the effect of there was this one person who I like that was having issues about God, I cannot talk. They were more or less getting upset about their viewer count, etc. That was me. Um, so I'm gonna work on making myself more concise, and on the same token, I'm really trying to make these YouTube videos shorter. I mean, this video by the time I'm done talking is probably gonna be 20, 21 minutes. That's a lot. I'm sure I've lost some people in the view count already. As far as I'm sure some people have clicked off by now. So moving forward, I'm gonna do my best to more or less get these videos shorter and actually keep them at 10 to 15 minutes because there's a joke that me and Sean both have to where, oh, we say 10 minutes, but really it's like double that. Um, I'm awful. Pure and simple. I'm awful at sticking to these times. So I'm gonna try to work on it. And now that we basically are going back into security and this YouTube channel is gonna pick up again, now that I've been fired from Zooks and my mind doesn't have to be on training and all that shit anymore. now that we're basically coming back into this security channel, I kind of want to do like a soft reboot more or less of the channel. So there will be a background soon. So when I do these full size videos, um, you guys won't be looking at my apartment anymore. You guys will be looking at like an actual like professional background. So more or less, as I kind of do a soft reboot of the channel here, and I actually start, you know, becoming more professional in these videos, um, that is going to be one thing that I'm going to work on. It's actually keeping to 10 to 15 minutes. I would love, love, love to get videos under 10 minutes, but it's going to take me some work. And I hope you guys are going to be patient with me, and I hope you guys will actually be able to help me out on that journey. So if you guys have any suggestions, please do feel free. Um, the index card idea is one that came to my mind. So yeah, I'm gonna try to work on making these a lot shorter. I'm trying to work on it. I am aware of the issue. More or less, I'm gonna say it even though I don't think anybody's giving me feedback. I'm aware of the issue. I've taken feedback, and I'm gonna do my best to work on it. That's all. That's all I can do. So yeah. Anyways, guys, my voice is getting raspy. I've basically been talking for like an hour between three different videos. So this is my character professional security journal. Y'all stay safe, take it easy out there, take pride in our profession, all y'all do. And other than that, I'll see you soon. Take it easy, friends.